Hey grasshoppers, we're off to another good start this week. Well done. There are some bits of news. There is a new timetable which I've posted today, and that has information about the project days, which are going to be on Wednesdays. So on Wednesday, you will do a project. It'll be the same project as year one. At the moment, we're going to do like a key stage project each Wednesday. So you'll get the details of that tomorrow. That'll be a whole day, and the idea is most of it will be offline. It'll be a whole nice project for you to sink your teeth into. But if you want to do some other projects on Wednesday, if you've got a better idea of something that you think you'd enjoy learning even more, you are free to do that on a Wednesday. It's just about learning and having fun learning. So if there's something you really want to explore, you should definitely just go for that. Or if you're not sure, you can get in touch and ask me. The second thing I wanted to say was because the teams have changed a lot at the moment, because there are some children going back to school a little bit. So there are now more adults in school, which means that all the classroom teams have shifted around a little bit. So we're going to have on Google Classroom with us during the week, we're going to have Kerry and we're going to have Dean, which is really lovely. And then we'll be making some phone calls home, and we'll be getting to speak to you during the week. But you might get we'll see who calls. I haven't decided that, but we are reading. We've only got 3 chapters to go, I believe, of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. So I'm starting to have a little think about what we might read next. Today's chapter is called Only Charlie Left, because all the other children have been a bit cheeky and ended up leaving, haven't they? So Charlie's the only one that's left. "Which room shall it be next?" said Mr. Wonka as he turned away and darted into the lift. "Come on, hurry up, we must get going. And how many children are left now?" Little Charlie looked at Grandpa Joe, and Grandpa Joe looked at little Charlie. "But Mr. Wonka," Grandpa Joe called after him, there's only Charlie left now." Mr. Wonka swung around and stared at Charlie. There was silence. Charlie stood there, holding tightly onto Grandpa Joe's hand. "You mean you're the only one left?" Mr. Wonka said, pretending to be surprised. "Why, yes," whispered Charlie. "Yes." Mr. Wonka suddenly exploded with excitement. "But my dear boy," he cried out, "that means you've won." He rushed out of the lift and started shaking Charlie's hand so furiously it almost came off. "Oh, I do congratulate you," he said. "I really do. I'm absolutely delighted. It couldn't be better. How wonderful this is. I had a hunch, right from the beginning that this was going to be you. Well done, Charlie. Well done. This is terrific. Now the fun is really going to start. But we mustn't dilly. We mustn't dally. There's even less time to lose now than there was before. We have an enormous number of things to do before this day is out. Just think of the arrangements that have to be made and the people we have to fetch. But luckily for us, we have one great glass lift to speed things up. Jump in, my dear Charlie, jump in. You too, Grandpa Joe, sir. No, after you. That's the way. Now then, this time I shall choose the button we are going to press." Mr. Wonka's bright twinkling eyes rested for a moment on Charlie's face. Something crazy is going to happen now, Charlie thought, but he wasn't frightened. He wasn't even nervous. He was just terrifically excited, and so was Grandpa Joe. The old man's face was shining with excitement as he watched every move that Mr. Wonka made. Mr. Wonka was reaching for a button high up on the glass ceiling of the lift. Charlie and Grandpa Joe both craned their necks, put their heads around, to read what it said on the little label beside the button. It said, "Up and out." "Up and out," thought Charlie. "What sort of room is that?" Mr. Wonka pressed the button. The glass doors closed. "Hold on," cried Mr. Wonka. Then, wham! The lift shot up like a rocket. "Yippee!" shouted Grandpa Joe. Charlie was clinging to Grandpa Joe's legs, and Mr. Wonka was holding on to a strap from the ceiling, and up they went. Up, and straight this time. No twistings or turnings, and Charlie could hear the whistling of the air outside as the lift went faster and faster. Yippee! Shouted Grandpa Joe again. Yippee! Here we go! Faster! Cried Mr. Wonka, banging the wall of the lift with his hand. Faster, faster! If we don't go any faster than this, we shall never get through. Get through what? Shouted Grandpa Joe. What have we got to get through? Aha! Cried Mr. Wonka. You wait and see. I've been longing to press this button for years, but I've never done it until now. I was tempted many times. Oh yes, I was tempted, but I couldn't bear the thought of making a great big hole in the roof of the factory. Here we go, boys, up and out. But you don't mean, shouted Grandpa Joe, you don't really mean that this lift... Oh yes, I do, answered Mr. Wonka. You wait and see. Up and out. But, it's made of glass, shouted Grandpa Joe. It'll break into a million pieces. I suppose it might, said Mr. Wonka, cheerful as ever. But it's pretty thick glass, all the same. The lift rushed on, going up and up and up, faster and faster and faster, and then suddenly, crash! The most tremendous noise of splintering wood and broken tiles came from directly above their heads, and Grandpa Joe shouted, Help! It's the end! We're done for! And Mr. Wonka said, No, we're not! We're through! We're out! And sure enough, the lift had shot right up through the roof of the factory and was now rising into the sky like a rocket, and the sunshine was pouring in through the glass roof. In 5 seconds, they were 1,000 feet up in the sky. So can you see here, there is where it's shot through the roof of the factory, and then this is the rocket, this is the lift that they're shooting up. See, those are the houses in the streets. They're shooting right up into the sky. The lift's gone mad, shouted Grandpa Joe. Have no fear, my dear sir, said Mr. Wonka calmly, and he pressed another button. The lift stopped. It stopped and it hung in midair, hovering like a helicopter, hovering over the factory and over the very town itself, which lay spread out below them like a picture postcard. Looking down through the glass door on which he was standing, Charlie could see the small faraway houses and the streets and the snow that lay thickly over everything. It was an eerie and frightening feeling to be standing on clear glass high up in the sky. How would you feel? It made you feel like you weren't standing on anything at all. Are we all right? Cried Grandpa Joe. How does this thing stay up? Sugar power, said Mr. Wonka. 1 million sugar power. Oh, look, he cried, pointing down. There go the other children. They're returning home. Wow. That was the end of chapter 28. I have to say I am really enjoying this because I've never read the story. I've only watched the movie. So I'm reading this for the first time with you. I don't remember that happening in the movies. Maybe it did. Maybe I have a bad memory. Fun though. We've only got 2 more chapters, so we need to think about what we'd like to read next. So if you have any ideas, you can get in touch with me and let me know, or you could write in the comments below this one. Okay? Have a nice evening, grasshoppers. Bye.